What's up, y'all? Oh, man. I feel like I haven't been on live in a long time. I don't know if it's really been a long time, but whatever. So I want to just get on here because I made a thread today about 30 or no, it was like 10 things I would tell my younger self, and some people were like, well, thank you, I appreciate that. Some people were like, oh, have something to say about it. So let's talk about it. So the first thing I said was that if you don't know my story, I used to do DoorDash, be on food stamps. I had a kid. I have 2 kids from a relationship that did not work out, right? So long story short, I left that relationship. I moved to my mom's house, and I was doing DoorDash and doing all these different things. Anyways, long story short, the first thing that I said that I would tell my younger self is, let me pull it up so that we could just go over it. So I said, do not have children out of wedlock. I have 2 children from a relationship that failed, right? And we do co-parent or whatever. So why I said like I would tell my younger self to wait for marriage is because it's like, no, obviously, like, people keep telling me like, oh, you can get married and then you can get divorced or whatever. But think about how many people you know who have kids from somebody they just met. Like, you just met them, you have sex, you have a great time, and then you end up pregnant. And now you're pregnant and you're a single parent because you don't have sex with somebody you don't know. Right? So regardless of, yes, like, you can get married, you can do everything right, and then you end up in divorce. That does happen, obviously. But like, I felt like the statistics would go down in the single parent household if we just waited for marriage. And that comes with like learning what you want from a partner, not just marrying anybody. But I would still tell my younger self the same thing. And people were like, well, you could still get divorced. Obviously, you could still get divorced, but if somebody does not want to be with you, they do not want to marry you, you should not be having kids by them. Now, if you don't believe in marriage, then, this is not for you or whatever. Maybe you believe in long-term commitment, relationships or whatever the case may be. But I just feel like I wish I would have known. I wish I would have waited and paid attention to that, because it's like, it's not cool to co-parent. Like, it is cool as far as like, the kids get to go see their dad and they see me one week. And I was asking my son, like, sometimes you just have to ask your kids. And I was just asking him, like, how do you feel about it? And he was like, it makes me sad, that I have to go from house to house or whatever. He's 6 years old. He knows exactly what's going on. This has been going on for 3 years now. Like, we've been co-parenting for 3 years. So kids know what's going on, right? They know. And it is, yes, if you guys are in a toxic relationship, obviously it's better to, go your separate ways or whatever. But I just wish I would have waited a little longer, or I would have waited until I got married in order to have kids, right? And that comes with just lessons that I learned, right? And it's not to judge anybody, because how could I judge anybody if I'm in that situation too? It was just what I would have told my younger self. So the second thing I said, and you guys can get my ebook. I came out with an ebook, and I'm talking about some of these things in my ebook, right? So the second thing I said was, I split with my daughter. It was 2, she's 7. She definitely gets it. Yeah, and kids will get it, but it just sucks that, hold on. It just sucks that when you're in a like, okay, for instance, like, usually there's a nurturer in the relationship. Like, usually that's the mom, and then the dad will be like the disciplinary. This will give discipline. I don't even know how to say it, or whatever. But when you're a single parent, you have to do both, right? And so it kind of sucks, especially when you have multiple children. When you have one child, you can give them that attention. But when you have 2 children, 3 children, 4 children, you're trying to divide your time, your attention, and everything by you, or just by yourself, right? So you're trying to divide your attention, your love, if you care about being a parent. I mean, some people don't care about being a parent. They'll just throw whatever in their kid's face to leave them alone. I'm not that type of parent. I'm not the type of parent to just throw a tablet in my kid's face and tell them to leave me alone. So it makes it a little harder, because it's like I'm trying to divide my time with my kids, right? Not only time, it's love, affection, and everything else that goes into parenting, right? So it is hard if you really care. It's not going to be hard if you just want to buy them whatever and tell them to get out your face, or, your parents are watching your kids all the time, or whatever the case may be. But if you truly, truly care about it, then, it is going to be a little bit harder. Now, the second thing that I said is that I wish I would have got hobbies a little bit earlier, right? In my life, because I feel like sometimes we don't know ourselves. So we don't know ourselves, we end up like, okay, for instance, I went to college, right? And I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, I played softball in middle school. I ran track in high school or whatever. But outside of sports, I didn't know any of my interests or what I was interested in. I mean, I didn't know any of my interests, and I didn't know like what things I wanted to do. So the second thing that I said was to find hobbies outside of drinking and clubbing and smoking and stuff like that. Like, find interest. Like, does anybody have issues with that? Like, me and my sister started boxing today. And it's more so like boxing, like the workout, not necessarily boxing each other or anything like that. But I think it's so important that we get hobbies and interests outside of like just clubbing and smoking and drinking, because you have to really know yourself. You know, what are you interested in? And a lot of, when I was 18 years old, my mom took me to Mexico, and I think it just opened up my eyes to like how other people live, how privileged we are in the US, just even traveling alone, right? Thank you. My boyfriend bought me this shirt. We got matching shirts. It's so cute. But anyways, yeah, and I just even as far as like being in relationships and stuff like that, sometimes you find yourself worrying about what the other person is doing because you have no interest, you have no hobbies, you're just worried about that other person. And I feel like the more that you have things going on in your life, you're not necessarily just worried about what that other person is doing. So I wish I would have got hobbies a little bit earlier, right? Hobbies, interests, crafts, whatever. Find yourself. Try new things. I know, like, in our community, it's so sports, but there's more than sports out there, right? There's more than just sports out there, right? And there's nothing wrong with playing sports. I don't mean it like that, but I'm just saying, like, you have to try different things. We're all not going to be into the same thing because we are the same skin color, right? We're not going to all be into the same things. And that's what I would tell my younger self. Like, go find yourself. Go find some stuff you're interested in. Instead of just worried about, you know, gossiping or celebrities, or, you know, you see how many people spend so much time commenting on the Shade Room, worried about celebrities, girlfriends, rappers, baby mamas, things like that. Like, no, go find yourself. Go find out what you're interested in, okay? So that's the second thing I would tell myself. So the first thing I would tell myself was to wait till marriage to have kids, right? Even if you're in a, like, if you believe in marriage, if you don't believe in marriage, you know, do your thing, whatever. The second thing is to find hobbies and interests outside of clubbing, partying, drinking. Like, what are you interested in? What type, like, do you like to read books? Do you like to travel? Do you like to play the piano, the guitar? Do you like boxing? Do you like CrossFit? What is it that you're interested in? So that's the second thing I would tell my younger self. Now, the third thing that I was saying is, what did I say third? Oh, so I was saying obtain a high paying skill or start a business, right? So, it's everybody's not going to want to start a business, right? And I get that. Starting a business is not going to be for everybody. Anybody can start a business, but you really want to, like, you know, if you're not really into that, that's cool. Go get you a skill. And what I mean by that is, you know, people can go to trade schools, they learn different things, different trades, but try to get a high paying skill, right? Because we can't work at McDonald's and then get upset that we're getting paid $15 an hour, $14 an hour. You have no skills. Like, you have the skill of taking orders. A computer can do that. Or making the fries or whatever. Leave that for the teenagers or, you know, the young adults that are trying to figure it out. But if you really want to get paid, you have to go learn skills, right? There's nothing wrong with doing a trade. There's nothing wrong with going to like tech school or anything like that. Even if you're not into any of that, the girl that does my eyebrows, okay, so she microblades my eyebrows. It was $350. So you're doing $350 per person, right? So what I'm saying is go get a skill. No matter what you're into, learn a high-paying skill or start a business, okay? We can't get paid big bucks if we don't learn anything. We're just working at the entry-level call center, entry-level warehouse. I used to do that too. I could speak on that. I worked at every warehouse you could probably think of. Amazon, Big Five, Burlington Coat Factory. I worked at everywhere else you could think of, right? I worked at call centers before, just answering the call. I did call centers for Amazon. I did call centers for scheduling appointments and things like that, right? So, I was like irritated about my pay, but I didn't realize like you're not getting paid a lot because you don't have any skills. So find whatever it is that you can do. Even Google has a course for free that makes you more marketable. Yes, even Google. I heard Google has different courses and stuff like that people can take. Even some tech courses and stuff like that. So get a high paying skill. That's the third thing I would have taught myself. I would have wished I would have. What am I trying to say? I'm talking too fast. That's the third thing I wish I would have like paid attention to when I was younger. When I was younger, I was working these dead end jobs. I dropped out of school because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know anything about myself. So I dropped out of school. I was just, doing me and working at these dead end jobs. I didn't have any stability, anything like that. And I was moving from house to house, moved from from California to Arizona, back to California, back to Arizona, this apartment, that apartment. And now finally I'm in my house and I plan on staying here for, a little while. But I wish I would have paid attention to that younger, right? Because the thing is, y'all, we're not going to want to work hard forever. When you're young, like when I was young, I could work overtime. I could do, working all day. Now that I'm in my 30s, look, I can say that now. I'm in my 30s. I really don't want to work the hardest. I want to work the smartest, but I'm not trying to work the hardest. I don't want to work 1,000,000 hours. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to be in my house, enjoying my kids, playing with my kids, letting them run around in the backyard, doing puzzles, doing whatever. I don't want to be, I have work because that to me is just not fulfilling, right? So when you're younger, yes, do that. But when you set up everything in your 20s, right? So that in your 30s, you can, enjoy life, right? And there's people out here now that are enjoying life in their 20s because when they was 18 years old, 19 years old, they got to work, right? So, I think I also learned that by just paying attention to my boyfriend and the type of job he has and, the stability that he was able to have, from just sticking it out and getting a high skill or having a high paying skill job. Right. So, that's the third thing. The fourth thing I think was, let me see. I think it was about money management. And this is a big one for me. So as far as money management, I was in those payday loan places. I was living check to check. Sometimes, y'all, we don't even live check to check. We live check to Monday. So you get paid on Friday and you broke by Monday. Okay. I had a car that I was paying $354.22 every single month for 7 years. I had a bad loan. I didn't know anything about finances. And I just went and signed that car loan, interest rate out the door. I don't even know what the interest rate was, right? So that's another thing. So I was in those payday loan places. I had a car note, using credit cards when I got fired from one of my jobs to stay afloat. And it just felt like, stress, right? You're always stressed out because you know that you have this debt. So if I could tell my younger self anything about money management, I would tell myself to, stop living check to check, stop living check to Monday. Don't get a car note. There's nothing wrong with getting a car that's paid off, y'all, until you really, really got it. If a car is $20,000 and you don't have $20,000 in your bank account, you cannot afford that car. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's not. Okay? My car was, I think, $18,000. I overpaid for it, but I didn't have $18,000 in the bank. So I should never been making payments to an $18,000 car. Now, if I want to go get an $18,000 car loan now, right? If I want to go get a loan now, that's fine because I have that in the bank. You get what I'm saying? So if you don't have that in the bank, you cannot afford it because what they're going to do is trick you into thinking that you can afford those payments. Okay? No, you might be able to afford the payments, but you can't afford the car. Because what's going to happen is they put you on a dumbass loan like mine. Maybe I was just young and dumb. I don't know if anybody else can relate to this. Put you on this loan, and by the time the car is 3 years, 4 years old, you're going to want a new car anyway. right? So, or what if your engine goes out? Now, how many people stop paying on that car because their engine went out and they don't want to pay the car note plus get the engine fixed, right? So now, you stop paying on the car, they repo. Now you got a repo on your credit. You got to start thinking about stuff like that. So if I could tell my younger self anything, I would tell myself, listen, you don't need, I had a paid off car and I went and I bought, my mom gave me a paid off car when I was 18 because my sister had, did whatever she did. And my mom just gave me the car. The car is paid off. It had problems, but I could have just got it fixed. And I went and I signed because I started working at Amazon. And I had a professor who told me, he was like, the worst thing you can do while you're in college is go get a car note, right? Because you're going to go get a job. And then your car note is going to be more important to you. So you're going to keep working that job, but you're going to drop out of school, right? So I went and I did exactly what he said. And I signed some stupid deal. And if I could tell myself, like, just grind it out. Just wait till you really got it to go get this car, right? One for expenses, one for taxes, and one for paying yourself. Definitely. Oh, taxes is another big thing. When you start really making money, you got to pay attention to taxes. What was I saying? So those are the big things I would tell myself as far as money management. So the next thing that I put on this list was you got to work on the things that money cannot buy you, right? So sometimes people get money or they'll get a high paying job or they'll get a job and they've been there for a few years or whatever. And they start acting like that's their personality trait, right? What you do for a living is not your personality. It shouldn't be your personality, okay? Well, with entrepreneurship, it's a little bit different because we kind of have to sell this like lifestyle. Some people sell the lifestyle. Some people are really living it. But you want to work on things that money cannot buy you because money is not everything. You can have money and still be an asshole. You could have money and still be alone by yourself because nobody wants to mess with you because of the things or how you treat people or, the things you possess or you act like, you're better than people because of the things you possess. That's what I'm trying to say. So work on the things that money cannot buy, right? Your patience. You want to master patience before you have children. That's the biggest thing that's how I wish I would have known. Like, you have to be patient. Everything is not about to happen when you want it to happen, right? Your morals, your values, things people cannot buy from you. I mean, you cannot lose, right? They can't take these things from you. They can't take money. They can't take grace from you, compassion from you, morals, values. They can't take those things. So if you lose a job, because some people we attach, there was a story about a guy who worked at Apple. I want to say Apple, and he made a TikTok and he ended up getting fired and he was at the company for like 20 years or something like that. And he ended up killing himself. Right. And I'm like, to me, the first thing I thought was, damn, like he really thought that job, right? Regardless if it's a good paying job, he was making a lot of money over there, a lot of money. Like, I think they were saying he made like $500,000 a year. But a job does not define who you are as a person. Okay. So if you get fired from your job, that does not take away for who you are as a person. And I wish more people would realize that. So you work on the things that money cannot buy. Right? Money cannot buy. The next thing I was saying that I wish that that was number, damn, what number was that? Oh, number 6 was, where the heck did number 6 go? Let me try to find it. I don't even know. But we could just move on to number 7. So number 7 says habits and routines create lifestyles. So a lot of people are like, let's just say you're an entrepreneur, right? And we know that we got to get on this internet. We got to make these videos. And although we don't want to make these videos or whatever, if you put it into your everyday routine, it becomes your lifestyle, becomes easier, right? Same thing with the gym. If you get up and go, you don't even think about it. It becomes a part of your routine, your habits, and it becomes eventually part of your lifestyle. Not I'm going to get up and go whenever I feel like it, because you're not going to always feel like doing what you need to be doing. And that's why you got to not move on emotion, right? And I should have put that in here. Because you're not going to always feel like getting up and going to the gym and working out. You're not going to always feel like making videos. You're not going to always feel like studying or doing whatever it is that you want to do. But if it's in your routine, right? Do the hardest things that you need to be doing, things you don't even want to do in the beginning of the day. The rest of the day, you can go and do whatever it is that you want to do. But your habits and routines, it tell you exactly who you are. You can sit up there and be like, oh, I'm a good person. I'm a good wife. I'm a good husband. I'm a good this. I'm a good that. But your actions is going to show you exactly who you are, right? So if you have bad habits, your lifestyle is going to reflect that. You're smoking every day, or you're drinking every day, your lifestyle is going to reflect that. If you have good habits every day, you get up, you go, you work out, you go eat something healthy or whatever, that's your lifestyle. So you are not who you say that you are what you do, right? So I could sit up here and be like, I'm a good person, I'm a good person. But if I'm treating people in my everyday life like shit, then that does not make me a good person. You get what I'm saying? So the next one is to be open to constructive criticism, right? Learn from your mistakes. So many people, and don't stop learning or growing, right? So just because someone's giving you advice when we're really young, like remember you guys, these are all the things I wish I would have told myself a little bit earlier in life. When we're young, we feel like we know everything. Nobody can tell us anything. We just know it all. And I don't know why, because we haven't been through anything. At 18 years old, you don't know, you don't know too much of anything, right? So be open to that. I wish I would have told myself, like, you know what, be open to it. Just because somebody does not agree with you or somebody's trying to tell you something doesn't mean that they're being a hater or that, whatever, they're against you or whatever the case may be. Sometimes when you're a little bit older, you just have that wisdom because you have that experience. You went through that. You've seen it before. You know what's history repeats itself. You know what's going to happen. You know the outcome. So you're just trying to look out for younger people under you. But sometimes people cannot accept that, right? So not everybody can accept that. But I just wish that I was a little more open to constructive criticism and learning from my mistakes, because there's people on here that, not on here, but people in life. There's people here in life, in life that will make the mistakes over and over. Let's just say that you talk to a bad guy, like, he's cheating on you, he's doing this, he's doing that, and then you go and talk to somebody else that's doing the same thing, but you are not paying attention, right? You're not paying attention. Okay, let's set up boundaries, right? You're not learning from your mistakes. You just keep doing it. You're repeating the cycle over and over. Just as much as I said, I wish I would have waited until I was married to have kids, is the same thing. Now that I'm learning from my mistakes, there's no way in hell I'm going to have a kid without being married, right? Even if the marriage failed, I don't care. I was married when this happened. You get what I'm saying? So you have to learn from your mistakes. If you don't learn from your mistakes, you're going to be living the same life from 18 to 35 to 65, or you might live check to check till you die. Shit. If you do not fix your mistakes, you will be living the same life from 18 to 65 or whenever, right? Some people live check to check to check for their whole life because they never learn from their mistakes. They never stop and corrected their mistakes, right? So that was number 8. Number 9, let's see. Number 9 was money can buy freedom and convenience, right? So what I mean by that is, like, right now, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't have an alarm clock. I can wake up and do whatever it is that I want. Now, that's still, it sounds good, but nobody's going to come tell me, hey, get on live. Hey, make those videos. Hey, you need to be posting. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to tell you what I need to be doing. But I realize the more money that I have, the more freedom that I have, right? If I go down to $0, I got to go get a job. And the job is going to mess up my freedom. Okay? So, and another thing, when you have money, it buys convenience. Right? So now that I have a little bit more money, I remember me and my kid's dad used to argue about who's going to clean up. Oh, I cleaned up. I have the kids. That was like a huge argument, right? When I got my finances together, I hired a maid. The maid is $100 a week. So $400 out the month. Now, there was a point in time where I felt like that was too expensive. Now where I'm at in my life, I'm like, I spend $100 at Target any other day, Walmart any other day, fast food for the week. So if I had to sacrifice fast eating out to get a maid to provide that convenience, I would. You get what I'm saying? So money buys convenience, right? Then you're able to travel without going it. You know what? In 2015, me and my homegirl and two of her homeboys, we went to Vegas. We over there in this dump hotel. It was called Hooters, right? I think they're owned by somebody else now. So we're at Hooters. The TV was from like 1930. I don't know. Like it was just so, it was such a trip where we had to be on a budget. We got a little bottle. We couldn't do too much because we were broke, right? And now when I travel, it's like I'm not necessarily trying to go to the cheapest places or whatever. So the best thing you can do in your 20s is to get your money up so you can pay for these type of conveniences and you can pay for your freedom, right? You don't have to necessarily, like for me, I don't necessarily have to work every single day, or I don't have to work all day long. You get what I'm saying? So get your money up, put it into things, start investing, put it into certain things so that you can have your freedom, you can pay for conveniences, and then the quality of your life is better, right? So you're not sitting there arguing. I'm not about to argue with anybody over who's cleaned up or why this, I'm not doing that, right? We're just not going to do that. We're just going to pay somebody to do the things we don't feel like doing because we have that luxury. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I feel like a lot of people in our community feel like there's something, like when I first told my family I was getting a maid, they were like, oh, you're bougie. What do you need a maid for? Next thing I know is, how much was the maid? Yeah, I'm going to try that too. And, they end up trying it because it's like, why stress over the things that do not matter in life? Like that shit does not matter. It's not going to matter in 5 years. I'm not about to sit up here and argue over who's cleaning up, right? So you just pay for convenience. Now, number 10 is that life is not perfect, right? Your heart's going to get broken. You might lose friends. Your businesses might fail. You can't predict the future, but you do not let your failures steal your joy. Like I opened a whole warehouse. I'm on the internet talking about flipping pallets. I opened up a whole warehouse and it failed, right? You cannot let it steal your joy. And I did go through depression and all that. And I talk about that in my book that is out now. And I want y'all to go get it. It's the first link in my bio. But you cannot let it steal your joy, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. So the best thing to do is move on, right? Do not let anything, I'm not about to be, 10 years later, oh, I started a warehouse and it failed. And that's the only topic of discussion. Okay, but what are you doing today, right? So don't let your failures steal your joy. Like someone was on here and they were saying like, oh, marriage doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to be a single parent or you're not going to be co-parenting, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, don't go out your way to miss the point of what I'm saying. But also, if you tried it, that's what you wanted and it did not work, so be it. You know what I mean? You tried it, didn't work. It is what it is. Move on. There's 7 billion people in this world. Okay. So those are kind of the things that I talk about in my ebook. If you have my ebook, let me know. If you haven't got it yet, it's still on sale for $27. It's the first link in my bio. But if you're interested in, I know I get on here a lot and I talk about flipping pallets or making money and stuff like that. But like my mind is deeper than that. It's more than making money. It's about, growing and learning and, just certain things that I went through. And that if I can help anybody not make the same mistakes that I made, I definitely want to be that person, right? So if I went through something and I can tell somebody else, hey, be careful because of X, Y, and Z, I hope that you would take that and be like, okay, let me be careful. Not saying that you have to do everything that I do or whatever, because I feel like the best way to learn is through experience, right? So sometimes you do have to go through certain things, but sometimes you can literally just learn from other people. So if y'all don't have my ebook is still on sale, right? So it is the first link in my bio. Just click that link in my bio. It's called The Come Up, and it's basically talking about how I went from doing DoorDash into I own a 7-figure business now. I'm a landlord now. I bought my first house. I'm a mother. Anything that that I've been through, I talk about. Postpartum depression in general, not setting boundaries with people. I'm one of those people who want to help everybody. When I was coming up, I was like, oh, let me bring everybody with me. And now it's like, you know what? No, because people don't want to contribute in any type of way. And I was talking about that the other day too. Nothing annoys me more than when people don't want to contribute. You chilling at my house, or I'm letting you stay here. Go do something to make my life easier. But people are not like that. So all the things that I went through on this journey has not been easy. I can tell you, like, it seems like it's, oh my gosh, she just got on the internet, she just made all this money. That's not the case, right? You go through things mentally that nobody will tell you about. And it's not just for entrepreneurs at all. If you have a regular job, you can learn something from that book. If you enjoyed this live, let me know. Put it in the comments that you enjoyed this live. But yeah, so I'm going to post this live, and because I felt like it was really good. And I heard that there's a new website where they'll chop up your video. So I'll just be posting the highlights. So I appreciate y'all. I'm out of here. I'll talk to y'all later. Oh, look at my baby. Hold on. All right, y'all, I'm out of here. Bye.